let's bring in Republican Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas. He joins us now. Senator, good to have you with us tonight. What do you make of this story so far?
Good evening, Martha.
Good evening.
Well, we don't know yet if those emails are authentic. That reporting adds more credence to them. I have to say, it sounds like something Hunter Biden would do. We already have known for a long time that Hunter Biden has been selling access based on his father's public office for years, just like Joe Biden's brother and his sister have done too. What I've heard as I've campaigned across the country over the last week or so for our Senate candidates in places like Michigan and Georgia and New Hampshire is that they worry a little bit more about their families than about Joe Biden's family. They know about Joe Biden's family, but they are very worried about their families' ability to, say, voice an opinion on social media without being censored. That's why it's past time that we revoke the immunity for these big tech giants. They worry about their family's ability to make ends meet if Joe Biden and the Democrats raise taxes on them, or if they pack the Supreme Court, as they seem to want to do, to worship their God in a way they choose, or to own a gun, or to speak their mind. Those are the kind of concerns I've heard from families across the country campaigning over the last couple of weeks. And although they're aware of what Joe Biden's family has been up to, they're really focused on their families and what the Democratic agenda means for them.
You know, I think you're 100% right. I think this is not something that is foremost in people's minds. However, you know, I do think it's interesting. One of the things that I think back to with the DNC situation and the Russian meddling then, once the emails came out, you know, it's a nefarious way that these things find their way into the public sphere. But we didn't hear then that the emails weren't real, and we're not hearing that now, that the emails weren't real. So there's the question of how it gets into the public sphere, and then there's the question of whether or not the underlying documents and, you know, 10% goes to the big guy is a real document. And if it is, it obviously raises questions. But one of the things that it raises most in my mind is the FBI had this for a year, and we just saw the documents that the FBI was sending back and forth to the guy who they acquired the laptop from. Why haven't we heard more about this throughout the impeachment scandal, throughout all of that? Why didn't the FBI tell us what they knew?
Those are really good questions, Martha, and we need to get to the bottom of it in the Senate, given the FBI's misconduct in the 2016 campaign as well. But Martha, as you point out, you know, you can talk about metadata, you can talk about a bunch of other technical stuff, but in the end, most Americans can use their common sense. And for all those Sherlock Holmes fans out there, they can hear the dog that didn't bark. And that's Hunter Biden and the Biden campaign still not coming out and saying these emails are fake. I did not send them. I did not receive them. If they really were Russian disinformation, as Adam Schiff and the other Democrats are running around screaming without any evidence, you would think that the Biden campaign and Hunter Biden would be saying that. The fact that they're not really is the dog that didn't bark in this controversy, and most Americans can use their common sense to say what that means.
Yeah, I think that's very clear. You know, I just think back to, you always sort of have to play, you know, if the shoe is on the other foot, right? And I think back to that meeting at Trump Tower with Natalia Veselnitskaya, who came, you know, and talked to Donald Trump Jr. and a couple of other people that were in that room. And it was a short meeting, and then there's no follow-up, you know, in any trail of anything that happens after that, right? I mean, you compare that to, you know, 10% or whatever the 10 refers to for the big guy, and a deal that they're working to close where there'd be offices that would be provided, you know, where it came from, and if somebody dropped it for a reason nefariously 15 days before an election is significant. But whether or not the emails are real is probably the most important part underlying it, isn't it?
And whether or not they reflect genuine corruption and graft, putting aside again where the emails came from and what Hunter Biden claimed, maybe Hunter Biden was engaged in a little bit of puffery, but if Hunter Biden really was arranging deals with Joe Biden, that's very worrisome.
Yeah. All right, Senator Cotton, thank you. Good to get your thoughts on it tonight. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
So